Let's be honest, it's easy to complain about property taxes. For one thing, it can feel like you never truly own your property. But while the burden can be heavy, there's more to the story. Texas might actually have the most equitable and taxpayer-friendly system in the nation. So today we're looking at what Texas gets right, and a system built in the 1970s that established a fairer system and that is a critical part of the Texas economic engine. It all starts in the Texas Constitution, and our system is built on the foundation of equal and uniform taxation. And the cornerstone of this is market value. You'll often hear people ask, why don't we just reappraise property every 3 or 5 years? It seems like that would create less work and be easier, but it actually would create tremendous inequities. Think of a slack and boomerang effect. For example, if we were to appraise every 3 years, you would see your value jump even more than you do now, let's say 15, 20 or more percentage-wise. Well, that shock would also be problematic in regards to the appeal process and in tax rates, which I'll touch on again in a minute. Texas has also avoided the lock-in effect, such as in California, which created a system where appraisals are capped at a certain rate every year. The problem, however, is it creates additional inequities between taxpayers. For example, let's say you have two neighbors that have practically identical homes, and one is taxed much more than the other because they purchased their house years apart from each other. And because of that lock-in that it would create, it again creates tremendous inequities and unfairness. One other critical point, whether you suppress values by caps or multi-annual reappraisals or delays in the appraisal process, it really doesn't lower your tax bills because the tax bill will ultimately be determined by your tax rate and the amount of the budget that can be raised. Nonetheless, property taxes still represent a heavy burden. And since 2019, the Texas legislature and governor have focused heavily on this problem. They've really focused on 3 areas of property tax relief. One is tax rate compression, where they have used excess state revenues to buy down or compress the school tax rate. The second way is by increasing the homestead exemption on school taxes significantly. Over the last 5 years, it has risen from $25,000 to $140,000 for homesteads. Third are revenue growth limits. This is kind of like an automatic brake. Cities and counties are limited to 3.5% revenue growth and schools to 2.5% revenue growth. Furthermore, if these entities want to raise more than that, they have to get voter approval specifically for those increases. When you add it all up, record homestead exemptions, strict revenue growth limits, and voter approval requirements, and we have no individual income tax and a reasonable sales tax rate, Texas ends up with one of the lowest total per capita taxes in the nation. Texas is the 8th largest economy in the world. To keep that engine running, we rely on a system that balances relief with fairness and predictability. It's not a perfect system, no tax is. But when it comes to the foundation, Texas gets the big things right. For more on this, read my latest article in the Spring 2026 Tierra Grande and on our website. Thank you for watching.